punch out, gotta get that check. Long hours on the rig, this was built off sweat. Welcome to Mickey D's, may I help you please? Teenage shift manager with his own keys. Alright, The Rage Cage, the 90s mixtape, talking about the song Do What I Gotta, track 1. And I mentioned that I'm doing exclusive shirts for this campaign to tell the story of the scene. And this one here is DJ Mad Max. He was the DJ for my group Wild Style, 87 to 90. And then he was my production partner in Rage Productions. So this project is partially dedicated to him. He passed away some years back. I'm always trying to spread the word and the story of DJ Mad Max forever. Yeah. Do What I Gotta is important because on this mixtape, besides just telling the stories of the people, places, and things of the time period of, Lake County hip hop scene, 80s, 90s, I wanted to capture the feeling of hip hop of the time, the feeling of that scene, specifically my personality. I was an aggressive battle rapper. And so I wanted to capture that, for better or worse, on this project, just like really time travel back to that essence. But within that also, there's some autobiography about the Rage Studio and what was going on. For example, the very first thing I say on the song and on the project is punch in, punch out, gotta get that check. Long hours on the rig, this was built off sweat. Welcome to Mickey D's, can I help you please? Teenage shift manager with his own keys. Because when I was 16 years old, well, right when I was turning 16, we moved to Illinois right before I turned 16. And when I turned 16, I knew that I wanted my own money because I wanted to buy albums and tapes. And I was ready to start buying, drum machines and make music, go to the studio. So I wanted to get my own job. And so we lived in Highwood briefly, right across from Fort Riley, before moving to Great Lakes and me going to North Chicago High School. And so I was at Highwood McDonald's for a brief period, like a month or two. And then I went to the North Chicago McDonald's on Green Bay and 22nd. And I was there for a very long time. Like, I was very well known for working there at that McDonald's. It was a very popular McDonald's. And so people literally could come there and find out about coming to the studio, because at that time, I was living like 7 miles from work. I told the story a bunch of times, but I would live 7 miles from work. I used to walk to work. So I walked 7 miles to work my 8-10 hour shift, then walk home. So the best way to catch me was at McDonald's to plan to come to the studio. And so people would come there, and I had my McDonald's manager calendar and I still have them, and I would write down people's like, so-and-so wants to come to the studio, met this artist today. I put times, we would book a session right there at the McDonald's counter to come to the Rage Cage. That was like a legit, my office hours. So yeah, I wanted to capture that. And people like Black Man Zeke, that's how he got in the studio first. DOPE came to McDonald's and booked a session. That was people in my crew. I even say in the song, book a session at the counter, the Hardrock Alliance, my favorite clients. I'm the founder. Because I would find a lot of my talent from them coming to McDonald's to ask to come to the studio. And so that whole second verse of this song is about all the people who were in my crew that I can remember between like 87 to 95. And like there was moments where people were like, would agree to be in a crew and then disappear. They might be a part of the crew for a few weeks or a few months or some were years. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but I wanted to honor everyone I can remember. I also mentioned GAND Music, which was like basically our guitar center. I bought my 808 there, my SP12, my Quadriverb, my 8-track, my not the 4-track, but a lot of my equipment. I saw a Lindrum there that I almost got. And so like GAND Music was like paradise. I would go there all the time. I got several business cards because I would go there, ask questions about MIDI, and they were just helpful in so many ways. GAND Music was so important to the story, to Rage Cage. And then, so the whole second verse is about me talking about the crew, and we'll talk about those groups later on in different videos. The last verse gets back to a little more autobiography. The very first line is, Fox Crest to Colonial Park, was doing my part, making ceremonial art, dramatically speaking. And but Fox Crest was the first apartment I lived in. It was my sister's apartment that I went and stayed with her for a while. Then she left me the apartment, and then Mad Max moved in, and we moved Rage Cage studio there from his grandmother's house in North Chi. And then when we left there,
we moved to Colonial Park and Park City Apartments and moved the Rage Cage there. So there was a lot of these songs were made in one of those two places. A lot of these beats were made in one of two places, or at Black Man Zeke's house when I moved there. And one of the other things I say that might not make any sense is I say, when I'm talking about my long walks, I say, nunchucks, back pocket, tips touching my spine. And that's specifically in reference to these right here, who I've had since the 80s. And I literally used to walk around. People known that I would walk those because it'd be late night sometimes. These would be in my back pocket sticking out. I had a lot of problems with people, just in general. I got a lot of harassment from the cops because of me carrying nunchucks. I don't know why they never confiscated them, but yeah, I would always get pulled over by the police. Well, not pulled over, I'm walking, stopped by the police and harassed because I had nunchucks or a hammer or some kind of weaponry. But yeah, so it was like, that's what that's all about. And that song kind of ends, even taking that a little further, talking about the trouble I had with like different gang members being confronted and having to stand my ground, and nunchucks in the back pocket, ready for action. And I had like, runners with cops. I speak about that a little bit, and even had songs like that. I had a song called Battle Zone about the problems in North Chicago while kicking with gangs and police. That me and King Rand from DBI had a song together. We never recorded it, but we both wrote our verses, but never recorded it. So that's kind of the main elements of Do What I Gotta, little autobiography, a little battle rhyme, kind of set the tone for the mixtape right there. Yeah, Do What I Gotta, the Rage Cage mixtape.
From Foxcrest to Colonial Park was doing my part, making ceremonial art, was known to embark on solo missions, one of a kind. Nunchucks, back pocket tips touching my spine. Must I remind anyone the state of this mind? Y'all should lock him in the rage cage, leave him confined. Need to combine these forces which are scattered about. The challenger's confidence getting shattered to doubt. You blabber your mouth, I got a remedy for that route. Your enemies gonna feel what pain is about. Mouth of madness, subtle pain.